What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Clean Spark today at the request of Navi and Tudora VRAM. For you guys, we're going to be talking about it. Yes, the price is going down. That's very good for my put options. I love making money on the way down, man. It's not as fun, I will say, as making money on the way up, but it's still, I mean, you can't be upset making money, man. I know I got a couple of you that are saying that you wish you sold up here, and that's okay, man. I understand that. As far as what I would recommend, first off, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I do think the price is going lower, but I don't think it's the time to sell. I think you need to, just like if you had your eyes on this, but it took off without you, you need to accept that it's just not a good time to get in, because you never know whenever it might have a sizable pullback, right? And that if you're looking to get in, there will be a good time to buy down here. But who knows, man? This thing it could pump from here. You never know. And plus, if you sold here, what's to say that next week at some point we go all the way back up to $10, $11 and then we continue to go lower? You don't want to be in that emotional game. So do what you want. It's your money. It's not my money. So do what you want. But I wouldn't recommend selling here. Not financial advice. I wouldn't recommend selling here. I think the time to sell is past already. The time to buy, if anything, is now, right? Because from the relative high that we have to where it is right now, you're down 40.4%. I don't think it's a good time to sell. Even though I do believe the price is going to go lower, I don't think it's a good time to sell. If you look at this thing, we zoom it out. If we're kind of looking at it for what it is, it's like a channel upwards, right? I would think that you have lower to go, right? You form this higher low, whatever. You got your higher highs there. It's not perfectly drawn, I know, but you can kind of see what I'm going for, right? I would think that you would at least hit this green line. But as I've been saying since the top, my minimum has been below $8. Here we are at $8.14. After hours, we even got a little bit below $8. I do still think that we have lower to go. We do have significant support right here on a weekly closing basis, right there, right around the 123 moving average on the weekly too, which is significant. That is just below $7. So as I said before, at a minimum, I would expect that we go below $8. Very much I think that's going to be realized soon. And I even have been saying over the past couple weeks that I very much expect we're going to go below $7 even. And that's looking a lot more like a reality as well. Below $6 is absolutely a possibility. Even below $5 is a possibility. Though I'm not counting on below $5, I probably will let go of my put option at that point. We do have significant support right there at about $5.10. We might not see that, but something in between this zone is ultimately where I think we're going. And I would probably lean toward this side of that zone. If we're looking at it for what it is, I don't know. I would kind of think, yeah, something like this. I would kind of like shave off that bottom part. I know that doesn't look pretty, but that's kind of how I'm like eyeballing it personally. Yeah. Let's see. I don't like saying that. I don't like saying I don't normally do that, but it happens. Let's see, bottom to top, below the 236. The next target based on this fib would be right there at about $6.20. It's very, very common. It happens where you do actually bounce directly off of it. That does happen, but it's more common to go a little bit below it and then bounce off it. Where am I planning on letting go of my put option? I would say at least below $7, but probably honestly around this area. That's what I'm thinking. With the absolute possibility that it could go lower, but I don't know, man. I might take profits even at this green line here at about what would that be? 666. Yep. Might take profits right there. Pull a devilish move, man. Looking at this here, overbought, got out of the overbought zone. What have you done anytime that you've been overbought and you got out of the overbought zone? Well, the last time you did this, you went on a downtrend. You were consolidating from July 17th until about October, right? So July, August, September, October. 2.5 months essentially is how long you move down for, and you continue to consolidate afterwards. Let's see here. That would be a total of a 55% move down. What would a 55% move down be from here? Pretty close to that green line, but just a little bit below it. Right around $6, man. Just below that 382. The 382 is right there at 620. Just below the 382. Very, very common. Very, very common behavior there. And where else is that? It's pretty dang close to this closing basis right here, right? To this closing basis right here. Yeah, like right in that area. Bottom to top on the relative fib, also very near your 618. Again, implying that you could go below $6. But again, I'm not personally going to be looking to let go of my put option there. I might buy some more stocks down there. I might be looking to buy down there, but I'll probably start loading up on stocks after I let go of my put option. Might have some cash left over. I'll figure it out. I'll let you guys know what I'm planning on doing. I'm letting you know right now what I'm planning on doing, but I'll let you know what I'm doing as I do it for sure. But just a general outline of the idea here. We're almost done. Okay. Top to bottom, rejected the 618. It's very stupendously common to bounce right off your 0.5, but you closed below it. So it's also very common to go to your 382. Very, very common. And I would say coming up from above like this on this kind of fib, it's still common to go below your 382, but it's also, I would say it's equally as common to bounce right off it, even above it sometimes. You don't have to hit this. Where the 382 from this, where this is like a primary reaction that you'd be having off of it, right? Right down here. I would expect you to go a little bit below that 382, and they are very close to each other. But this 382, you already had a reaction with it here. You had another reaction with it here. So finding support even above that area is not uncommon. And you do have a lot of support above that area. But again, you could go to it. You could even go a little bit below it. That's fine because you still have higher lows coming into play. But I got distracted. I was trying to measure what happens after you get in your overbought zone. Well, this time was not friendly at all. Very not friendly. We're not even going to try that because that's probably a worse outcome than what we're going to experience right now. This one here, okay, on the way up, something more similar, right? You came out of the overbought zone here, sure, but that's not too bad. 50% drop. I bet we see more than a 50% drop. Top to bottom here, 54% drop, yeah. And then that one, how much was that again? 55, 50, 54, 55, kind of all in unison, all on the way up, right? Like to see it. Overbought, abysmal. Overbought, abysmal. Early days, not gonna count it so much. So again, a 50 to 55% drop would take you down. 50%, come on now, very close to there. Whatever. 690. What else is where 690 is? I forget. There was something else there, wasn't there? Maybe it was just the weekly high close. That's what it was. It wasn't a fib. It was the weekly high close. 690 for 50% drop, top to bottom, 55% drop, just below $6. So I would say just below $9 to probably right around $6 is very likely where this thing's going to go. Absolutely, next week it could open up to the green side. Absolutely, it can. You can see here that it moved down a solid bit. It moved down. Come on now, top to bottom, moved down about 36%, and then it had a little pump up. And I say a little pump up, but if you bought right there and you sold, you could have made 40%, man. That was a bigger pump up percentage-wise than it was down. And I know a couple of you might be scratching your heads. You're looking at this. Maybe you're new to charts. You're new to the mathematics of it all, but moving up is easier than moving down. As you move further down, it like compounds the movements. Let me just give it an example, okay? So like let's say you had $100 and you lost 50% of it. Now it's worth $50. And now you gain 50%. Now it's only worth $75, right? It's easier to move up percentage-wise. To move back to that same percentage, you would have to gain 100%. And I say it's easier. That seems harder. I should say it's less significant. I don't know what word to use. Like you can gain percentages to the upside faster than you do to the downside, if that makes any sense. Where I don't know where I was going to go with that, but I hope that you know what I mean. I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it makes sense because, again, this move is noticeably bigger from top to bottom. If we were to measure it by pixels, you could see that this is bigger. Obviously, just with the naked eye, this move is smaller than this move, yet it has the bigger percentage gain. And again, that's just because negatives are stronger, are harder to gain percentage value than positives are, if that makes any sense. But what was I saying about that? Oh yeah, just the fact that you can have a 50% move up, man. You can move up or 40% move. What would a 40% move do here? From the current price, I mean, a 40% move would take us higher than those highs, right? Like right near them. I guess not a 40% move. It would take us like right to those highs. Absolutely, we could do that. Absolutely, we could. Absolutely, we could go slightly lower than that, maybe a 35% move, still getting lower highs, and then continue the onslaught to the downside. So all I have to say, and that's why, again, that's why I wouldn't recommend selling here. Watch next week, and you just go straight down. But probably that's not what happens, because this thing does like to meander its way around. So that's why I wouldn't recommend selling here. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do what you want, but you never know when the opportunity to come. If it were to go up and you decide to sell it there, that might be a better area. But that's all completely up to you. If you wanted to buy here, you're at a substantial discount already. Like, there's nothing wrong with starting to buy here and DCAing as it goes lower, But again, not financial advice. It's up to you to do what you want to do. If we're looking at this on the daily RSI, I very, very, very much believe that we're going to see the oversold zone, but it wouldn't be crazy, again, to come back up maybe to this 50, form another lower high, reject the 50, and then get into your oversold zone. It's probably going to take weeks, multiple weeks, maybe even a month from now before we find our low. But if you're patient, I think you can time it right. I think you can nail it, man. You can really nail it. Just like on the way up, we had this little squibble squabble for about a month and a half, but we were patient, waiting for it, little squibbles all the way up, man. And if you were paying attention to the channel, man, I sold at 13.30. That's where I got out of my position, and then I opened up a put position right there, actually. So doesn't always happen. I'm definitely not trying to say I always nail the top or the bottom. That's actually the first time I've nailed the top in quite some time. That's not my style, but there was a lot of significance around that area. I was even kind of expecting it to go higher, and that is my style, is to kind of sell out before the areas that I kind of think it would go to. I very much did think we'd find resistance in this area, but I gave it the opportunity, the option. I gave it the notion that it could move above $14, maybe even up to $16. But even with that possibility, there was so much significance in this area that I just couldn't help but let it go. I had to let it go, Just like there's more than potential for this thing to go lower, we'd still maintain these higher lows, of course, but I'm not going to be buying down here. That's not where I'm going to be buying. Even if the price goes down there, I mean, maybe if I have cash on the side, I'll buy down there, but I'll probably be buying around here, around this green line, below $7, but above $6. And that's all I got to say, man. I hope that all makes sense. I hope it's not crazy. Again, just really, really, really want to hit the nail on the head here, that I don't think it's a good time to sell. Even if the price goes lower, it's not a good time to sell. It's a good time to buy, if anything. And if you're looking to sell, just be patient, because if you're patient enough, if you wait a year, you look forward, you're gonna forget all about this nut, man. You're gonna forget all about it. So don't even worry about it. Take care. Hope you liked the video. If you do, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all very much for coming, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.